Montana's landscape isn't just defined by its rugged beauty, it's shaped by the leaders of the land. This is Leadership, Legacy, and the Land, unveiling the stories of the passionate volunteer leaders who drive the Montana Stockgrowers Association. These cattlemen and women are more than just ranchers, they're trailblazers, preserving our heritage while building the future of Montana's beef cattle industry. Brought to you by Stockman Bank, Montana's brand of banking.
I'm Katie Cooper. Welcome to Cooper Hereford Ranch. The ranch is located in Willow Creek. It's at the foothills of the Tobacco Root Mountains and near the headwaters of the Missouri River. So it was a beautiful place to grow up and live. I'm really grateful for my great-grandfather, Frank Oscar Cooper, who headed west from Nebraska in 1914 and settled the original 480-acre homestead. Since then, it's been over 100 years, and 4 generations have made great contributions and have worked really hard to expand the original 480-acre homestead to a 4,000-acre ranch that's home to 300 registered Line 1 females and about 150 commercial cows. We host our annual production sale every year in March, where we market about 100 yearling bulls, and this year will mark our 60th annual production sale at the ranch. Cooper Hereford Ranch is a multi-generational family-run business. I work very closely with my dad and mom, Mark and Christy Cooper, my sister Kelsey Cooper, and her husband Dave Hansen. Working with family is very rewarding, but it also comes with a lot of challenges. There's no better mirror than your family to show you your strengths and weaknesses and the areas you need to grow in. The operation has always raised Hereford cattle. Our program is unique because all of our Hereford cattle are of Line 1 descent that trace back to a research project from the 1930s that was conducted at the USDA Research Center in Miles City. What most people don't know is that the results of that Line 1 research project, it laid the foundation for performance testing and genetic evaluation for all breeds today. My family has continued this closed line of breeding for almost 80 years, and we've been performance testing for well over 70 years. And there's no denying the balance, predictability, and consistency that it's brought to our herd. Carrying on a family legacy, whether it be in ranching or any type of business, to me is an opportunity and a gift. I say it's an opportunity because not everybody gets to experience it, and we don't always succeed at it either. I think it's a gift because it means that I get to be a part of something greater than myself. So when I show up to the ranch every day, it's not just a job. I'm showing up to work to carry out the practices and values of previous generations, while also trying to make an impact today with my family so that the future generation has something to carry out as well. Hey, boss! I've always been really interested in leadership, and I think I come from a family of leaders. My first exposure to leadership was through athletics. I remember being invited in high school to go to a basketball challenge camp, and I would say that was a bit more of a leadership camp than a basketball skill building camp. But I remember leaving that camp thinking, if I wanted to win at a team sport, I needed to learn to be a good leader, and that stuck with me. I remember when Montana Stockgrowers Executive Director called and asked me if I would apply to represent Montana on the National Cattlemen's Beef Board. I took my role there very seriously, and I got involved right away. I served on committees for my first 2 years, and then during my 3rd year, I was asked to interview for the Beef Promotion and Operating Committee, which only 10 members out of the 100 board members serve on. And I really learned, though, that despite our differences as producers, the most important thing is that we really support each other in our efforts to produce the safest, healthiest, and best tasting protein we have in the world. And the Beef Checkoff program helps us do that on both a state and national level. I think it's really important that ranchers have a seat at the table during these policy discussions, because You know, agriculture is still Montana's #1 industry. My hope for the industry, it's a very exciting time right now because I think it's been a while since people have been this excited about the beef industry, and I hope we can continue this on. My biggest fear is that consumers don't understand ranching and farming, and when people don't understand something, it can create a lot of unknowns. And I think it's really important that as ranchers, we get out and tell our stories, because nobody knows our story better than ourselves, and we have to be able to set that narrative. Montana Stockgrowers has been supporting and advocating for the Montana rancher for over 140 years. And I think that if you're going to be involved in an industry, you really have to support the organizations within it. And I think Montana Stockgrowers, you know, it has done a great job of that, and we need to continue to support their efforts. The advice I would give any producer that wants to get involved in industry leadership is look for a mentor. Look around in the industry and the people that you admire, and look at their leadership styles, how they've accepted leadership positions, how are they involved in their community, how did they grow their business. Try to learn from them, and then try to work hard at doing the same thing. The words leadership, legacy, and land, to me, they're very powerful words, but I think what is probably more powerful is what we're doing with each one of those things. You know, how are we growing our leadership skills? How are we carrying out our family's legacy so future generations continue ranching? And how are we being good stewards of the land? I think that is what really matters, is what are we doing with leadership, legacy, and land. My grandfather, he was definitely a pioneer in the cattle industry, and really set the foundation of our family legacy, and really proud of what 4 generations have been able to carry out.
This is Leadership, Legacy, and the Land, brought to you by Stockman Bank, Montana's brand of banking.